Welcome to our Blender Grease Pencil tutorial series. Today we are exploring the magical world of Chibi-style artwork. Get your digital pen ready as we embark on an exciting journey to create something amazing together. I have already sketched the basic outline and now I will add a new layer to draw on top. Do not worry too much about the exact shapes at this stage. You can always make adjustments by creating new layers while decreasing the opacity. Currently I am in the draw mode and using the curve tool to draw on the layer below. You can follow the same technique for the entire artwork. If you are familiar with the pen tool in other software, using the curve tool in Blender Grease Pencil will be familiar. You can also make adjustments using the points. For more detailed adjustments, you can switch to the Edit mode or Sculpt mode. While we are still in the Draw mode, let's focus on creating a rough sketch. In the Edit mode, you can copy and paste shapes, rotate them, and even scale them. I will display the shortcuts for these activities on the screen. Using the same curve tool in the Draw mode, I will continue drawing the full artwork. In the Edit mode, you can select the stroke, switch to the Sculpt mode, and make further adjustments. You can also smooth the strokes, move them around, and sculpt them. Always remember to be on the correct layer in the layer panel and keep an eye on all the other layers. In the Edit mode, you can select all the strokes and make additional adjustments. I will provide the shortcuts for these adjustments on the screen. As we progress with the artwork, we will make more changes in the later stages. This is where sculpting comes in. Let's draw a hat for this chibi girl. The shapes looks fine, but before sculpting, remember to select the stroke in the Edit mode. Otherwise, you will end up sculpting all the strokes together. If you need to select and sculpt a specific stroke, make sure to select it in the Edit mode. You can use the Curve tool and the Arc tool in the Draw mode, or delete and erase parts of the entire stroke. You have several options available. In the Sculpt mode, you can increase the size of a stroke. Additionally, in this Edit mode, you can make adjustments and even rotate the stroke. To decrease the thickness in the stroke, simply press Ctrl key in the Sculpt mode. Take a look at all the strokes. In the edit mode, you can select points, strokes or vertices to be edited. We will be using these techniques repeatedly to complete the artwork. Drawing lines and strokes will be followed by switching to the fill mode to paint the chibi artwork. As you can see, I have reduced the thickness of some strokes and increased it in others, like the hair. These changes can be made in the sculpt mode. You can select some strokes and either delete or sculpt them. You also have the option to erase specific parts of these strokes. These techniques allow you to smoothen your artwork. By the way, we will start painting the artwork soon. To do that, go to the material properties and create a new layer called fill. Instead of the material properties, we will be using the vertex paint mode. It allows us to easily select the color and change the colors with just one click. However, if you prefer using the material properties mode, you will need to create a new material for the artwork. Here we are filling the basic layers of the painting. I am changing colors in the vertex paint mode, and you can do the same by using the paint bucket tool. In the draw mode, when you select the paint bucket tool, you have access to material properties, including the materials or vertex paint. Here I am continuously changing the colors. If you have any area that is not enclosed by strokes, you can use the middle mouse button or the scroll button to fill the gaps and then fill the area. You can see some blue temporary strokes there to fill the gaps. You can play around with the colors and choose what you need, selecting the most suitable color. I am using the scroll button to fill. you can see my vertex paint colors. When I select a vertex color, I press the plus icon to add it to my vertex paint library. Here I am using only 6 different color solars. Try to keep the number of the color codes within the artwork to a minimum. In the Sculpt mode, you can make adjustments to strokes as well as the fillings in Blender Grease Pencil. All the fill materials are also stroke based. You can see a stroke around the filling and around the vertex filling. Then in the edit mode, you can select that color outer lines. In the Sculpt mode, you can grab or push the shape to make adjustments. This is the best way to paint in Vertex Paint because if you fill the gaps or small gaps with another fill layer, you will end up with many layers of filling in the artwork. But in the edit mode, you can treat the point as a piece and grab or push it. It's easier to handle these colors. So do not worry about small unfilled areas. When painting the eyes, you need to fill the larger area first because in Blender Grease Pencil, it recognizes the larger areas as holes. So fill the wide area first and then you can address all the small areas inside that eye in suitable color. You can draw shadows using a new layer and adjust the blend mode to hard light. Here I am decreasing and increasing the opacity to get an idea. Always make sure you are in the right layer. Usually when I paint in Blender Grease Pencil, I use a new layer for all the fillings and another layer for shadows and highlights. You can later unlock the stroke layers and make adjustments. I am redrawing the eye with some new strokes and adjusting the thickness in the sculpt mode. Here I am decreasing the thickness by pressing the Ctrl key and I delete unnecessary strokes. In this case, I remove some strokes. The shape is looking okay now. Yeah, this is okay. I have disabled the visibility of filling when working with the strokes. When you add in shadows or highlights to the artwork, remember to create new layers in the layer panel and give it a name of your choice. Then go below that layer and you will find the blend mode. By default it is set to regular, but you can make changes. Most of the time I use the blend mode as hard light, and you can experiment with multiple blend modes. Here I am making some adjustments again. Now you can see the curve lines on the girl's face. We can get an idea about the shape of the face. You can also select strokes of the frock and make adjustments in the sculpt mode. You can push or grab these strokes. I have now enabled the visibility of the mm, fill layers because I made some changes in the stroke mode. You may notice some displacements in the fillings, but do not worry, you can make all the necessary adjustments in the sculpt mode. I am using the same color patterns repeatedly in the artwork to maintain a consistent theme. I am using the same family of color codes here. I am still in the fill shadows layer. You can name all the layers as you wish, and always ensure that you are on the correct layer to achieve the best result. Otherwise you won't get the best result. You can make changes in the fillings and use sculpt tool. Use a sculpt tool to smooth them in the sculpt mode. Now I am creating another layer called fill highlights. So in fill highlights, where you can change colors and add highlights, the new fill highlights layer is also set to the hard light blend mode. Different blending modes will give you different results in the painting. I am smoothing all the highlight fillings by selecting them in edit mode and using the sculpt mode and the smooth tool. You will need to redraw those strokes and they will become smooth layers. Here I am creating another layer where you can draw highlights on different body parts. Do not worry about the shapes, you can increase the smoothness later. I am also drawing some shadows on the skin. When you draw these kinds of lines, especially in the painting, make sure to place the layer in the correct order. Here I am drawing shadows in a layer below the lines and highlights. Here I am constantly using the edit mode and the sculpt mode to give you a smoothness to the strokes. As you can see, I am creating a new layer and moving selected strokes and some fillings to a new layer later. If you forget to make a new layer and paint on it, do not worry. You can do it later. This way you can easily organize your artwork. Simply make a new layer, select the fill-in or drawing in the edit mode, right click and then move that piece of art to the new layer. In Blender Grease Pencil, you have additional options by right clicking on the artwork. In the material section, you need to create a new material. You will notice a plus icon there, which allows you to add a material slot. You can add highlights later. For now, I am drawing a few eyelashes in the edit mode, but you can make adjustments or replace them as needed. In this part, I am drawing some lighting shapes of the eye using white color. Feel free to experiment with different blend modes, colors and opacity settings. You can also adjust the smoothness of the stroke. I think this looks good. I'm satisfied with this for now. It's looking good. Using the same technique, you can make further changes and enhancements. Here I am switching between the edit mode and the sculpt mode. You can draw these shadows on a same layer or different layers using the pen tool. Here I am in the sculpt mode. You can draw some highlights. Make sure to make a new layer. You can sculpt them also. Here I am trying few different colors for the highlights. Don't worry about the exact shape. You can sculpt them in later. For the first time I am using a different color, the red color. When working with different brushes, you can add some beautiful effects to the artwork. Here I am creating a new layer and selecting a new brush called the speckled brush. Don't worry if you don't have these brushes. You can download them from the internet and append them to the Blender Grease pencil. Alternatively, you can also create your own custom brushes. I am using the speckle brush to add some beautiful effects to the artwork. You can also mask the layer to limit the effect of the brush to a selected area. In this case, I am masking the layer to the skin layer, allowing me to draw outside of the painting while seeing a small effect of the brush on the skin. For the skin highlights, I am using a pink color, which adds a beautiful effect to the artwork. Here I am using the mask feature for the fill layer and reducing the layer's opacity. In this vertex mode, you can select different colors and apply these effects to the cloth. In this step, I am using few more colors with the same speckle brush to create additional effects. I will provide a description in the video explaining how to append non-default brushes to grease pencil. Now I will demonstrate the use of the gradient fill tool. Here I am making a new gradient fill. You can watch my previous video to get an idea about the gradient tool. In edit mode, you have various options to modify the gradient. Take a look at the transform fill tool in the edit mode here. When selected the transform fill tool, you can see the gradient distribution, and in the right corner you will find the tool options. Here you can make adjustments to the translation, selection and rotation of the gradient material. Still you are in the edit mode. So I am drawing a new gradient distribution and then selecting the transform fill tool. By using the translate, rotate and scale options in the active tool, you can select a midpoint of the gradient. The gradient stroke can make necessary adjustments. As you move the cursor, you will see the effects, which is incredibly helpful for users working with gradients in the software. Additionally, in Vertex Paint mode, you can choose colors to replace pre-drawn colors. And this is how to replace the colors. Simply select your preferred color and paint on a layer. The selected layer will then adapt the new color. This way you can easily replace colors using the Vertex Paint mode. For this demonstration I am doing all the painting on the background layer. I am utilizing the circle tool in the gradient fill and making further adjustments using the transform fill tool. To replace colors, simply color on the previous layer with your desired color. You can choose any color you like. Here you can have some more materials to the artwork. And you can change the color. And there you have it, the final artwork. Feel free to add more effects or draw additional backgrounds. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial on digital artworks, consider subscribing to my channel. Your subscription would motivate me to create more tutorials in the future.